Downtown, I got that heat, let's go.
Check here, Micah. Lakers World Order Empire. Give me an indication that everything is cool. Let me know that that all is good here with the stream. I just got to make sure that the video is good. I can see myself, so as long as you guys can, then that works. And then lastly, the audio. Just double check that for me. Make sure the sound is clear. Sometimes, once in a while, I get these really weird, like robotic, mechanical sounds coming from my interface, and usually all I have to do is just reset it, and then it's fine. But if you guys could just let me know it's good, especially if you have me playing on your car speakers or headphones, it's really noticeable. Sometimes if you're just listening through your phone or something, it's not really noticeable. But some people listen to this with headphones and stuff. I don't want it to sound terrible, so I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm gonna check for the playback. I'm gonna make sure it sounds good on my end too. I'm gonna give this a check. Let me see here. See if it sounds good. If I'm looking for that sound. If it's not there, then we're good. I don't know what it is about my interface. It does it sometimes. I usually just have to reset it, and then it's golden. All right, so I checked on my end. It's not doing it, so that's a good indicator. Let me see. Micah, what you telling me? You said you're good? Okay. Lakers World Order, appreciate you. Let me know for we're good for the go. Let me go ahead and just kill the music. It's just not necessary at this point. But the beats are flames, bro. I'm telling you. My dude Dantana. Oh, man, he hooked it up. Yep, he absolutely hooked it up. All right. So I've got a few here in the live edition. I want to salute you and thank you for being here. I always do my best to be my best. That's kind of one of the things that I say in life. If you're not doing your best, you're not giving it your all, then you should just go home, right? So Every time I do a live stream, every time I do a show, I always give it my best effort. I give you guys my legitimate thoughts, opinions, perspectives on all things NBA, all things NFL, whatever type of content I'm making. Live streams, videos, I always try to give you guys my honest, truthful, real opinions and thoughts. I try not to hold back. I try not to bite my tongue. I really do try to deliver what I mean, and I try to say what I mean, and I always mean what I say. In sports, especially when it comes to fandom and fanatics, sometimes that can create tensions between people. But I don't necessarily feel like that has to be the case. I think two people can have discourse, and I think two things can be true. And I think the only way to really learn sometimes is to hear things from other perspectives, which is why I always throw out the link and I invite you guys onto the show to call in and discuss some of the things, especially from some of the fans who have been around a long time or have a unique perspective because of where they're from regionally and what they saw and experienced. And it's just good to get the alternative perspectives, which is why actually this Friday, I'm going to have a guest on my live stream, and he's different. He is one of the most unique individuals I've seen on YouTube when it comes to his perspective on sports and especially NBA topics, namely Michael Jordan and the greatest of all time, all those kind of debates. I'm going to bring him in on Friday. I don't agree with most of everything he says. It's like the exact opposite of everything that I believe to be true or I believe to be the case. He's like on the other side of the coin all the time, which is why I want to bring him on and discuss things. And actually, I'll probably share the link with some of you guys so you could pop in and talk to him too. His name is the Universal Galaxy, and hung out with him on his live stream a couple of times. I've been really busy, but I've been trying to do shows and I've been trying to bring him on. So I'm going to try on Friday. I'm going to send him the link to the live stream. Hopefully he can make it Friday. Um, I mean, I don't see why not, but he agreed to come on the platform, and we'll invite him on and we'll kind of see how that goes. But that should be interesting. Also, I've got some friends who I often hang out with. If you guys know the Format Podcast, you guys have seen me collaborate with those guys before. I'm looking to have them pretty soon on the show as well. I'm going to send them the invitation, see if we could kind of schedule that. And who knows, maybe I could plan some stuff with some of the other guys out there in the YouTube space. I really do enjoy and appreciate the small independent content creators. I don't much care for the mass media. I don't think they're doing many of us a service. I think for us as diehards, for real hoop fans, you're looking for more. You're looking for more nuance. You're looking for more detail, as opposed to just the plain old, same old rundown stories and arguments. And the debate platform doesn't really intrigue me that much. I kind of like throwing ideas and concepts back and forth with folks, so I'm not much into like Stephen A. Smith and First Take and, the fake ass debates they have on some of those shows. It's just not my thing, and, I've been on other platforms and everybody's talking about you got cooked and you did this and I cooked you and all that. Like, I'm like 40 plus years old. You sit there and talk like you're 11, talking about cooked and getting cooked and all that. You sound stupid, Maybe they'll look back 20 years from now and realize how foolish they were. But until that day, I refuse to engage in that behavior. Anyways, just to kind of give you guys a rundown of what we're going to do today. So first topic in today's show, let's go Stan Van Gundy and his comments about LeBron and Michael Jordan. And it's more so a LeBron story, but he places blame on MJ, which sounds crazy, which I know you guys aren't going to like because I know a lot of you are big MJ fans, right? So just to throw it out there, Stan Van Gundy is a huge LeBron fan. Most NBA coaches are huge LeBron fans. They can see the greatness. They can identify his capabilities, his strengths, and I'm sure some of them see his weaknesses too. But, it's a coach's perspective, and he has made it very clear he thinks LeBron is the best player of all time. And he has made it very clear he thinks he's had the greatest career of all time. So some of that has to be framed properly. We'll discuss that more in a bit. A resurgence in the Kobe quit against the Phoenix Suns in the 2006 NBA playoffs, a resurgence in that idea. I remember this story when I was a kid and I was in college, but when I was a kid and I was watching these games, and I remember that about Kobe, there were some individuals who claimed that he quit against the Phoenix Suns in game 7. And I've always felt like that was some disingenuous story that really didn't have any credence. I never really thought that that was true. I didn't think there was statistical evidence to prove it. I didn't think the narrative was actually supported by any type of truth. I did not see a man or a player who quit during that game. I do see the unconventional and the abnormal process of that game, but I did not see a player that quit. Some unorthodox elements to this story. I do remember the stories getting printed about Kobe quitting. Most of it was coming out of Phoenix. Most of it was coming out of like ESPN, and it's narrative. It was narrative driven. Kobe was not well liked. So we're gonna separate facts and narratives. But Kobe was not well received. They had just given the league MVP to Steve Nash. Like there's so many nuances to this. We're going to discuss that here in this video. We'll go through the statistics. We'll go through the game by game breakdowns. I'm going to tell you guys my take on it. I recently watched what was it? The Kobe Film Room. He was on the live stream last time. I watched some of his content. His video is pretty long and in depth. That's probably worth checking out. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Woodage. Appreciate you guys for being here. Yeah, absolutely. You guys are the best, man. Big salute to you all. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And I've got a couple things I want to make sure I mention. I'll probably take your guys' calls. I'll throw out the link after each of the topics to kind of discuss. I'll give you a couple of minutes to kind of take your position. Maybe we'll kind of throw some ideas back and forth. And if we got multiple people coming on, I'll try to bring on as many as I can that the time frame allows me within the stream. Last story for today will be the expectations for the 2025-2026 LA Lakers now that they have made some moves in the offseason. Yes, LeBron re-signing is a move, absolutely. Luka, all those elements, DFS moving on, Austin Reeves next year, Luka next year. He's an Adonis now. He's like a fitness trainer now. He's like in the best shape of his life. He's like 1.7% body fat. JJ Redick is the Socrates of NBA coaches. All the pieces are now in place. No excuses. We're going to talk about what we expect from them next season. You guys can definitely chime in. I know I got Lakers fans in the chat, so I'll be hoping to see if you guys can come through, check in, tap in, and let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on those things. Okay, so let's start first with this. And actually what I'm going to need to do is I haven't tested audio through StreamYard, and I want to do StreamYard because I wanted you guys to be able to, kind of chime in, and call in. But first I want to give you guys the rundown, and then I'm going to let you guys listen to the audio. So firstly, the background on this. Stan Van Gundy was on this podcast recently. I think it was the Nothing Personal with David Samson podcast. He has Stan Van Gundy on as a guest, and they're discussing things. They just got done talking about the Knicks and their season. Then they go on to talk about the Lakers and LeBron. And then here is what Stan Van Gundy goes in and does. And I'm going to let you guys listen to what he said, but here's the overview. Stan Van Gundy believes that the criticism, negativity, and venom towards LeBron is due to the constant comparisons between LeBron and Michael Jordan. And that element of resentment from some of those fans is just because of that who's greater debate. Van Gundy also says that LeBron has all of the accomplishments, the best or the greatest career in NBA history. He believes it's undeniable, and he doesn't understand why there's hate for LeBron. For him to, if he really means he doesn't understand why there's hate for LeBron, if he really doesn't understand that, then he's naive. Because there's several things that people don't appreciate about LeBron. A lot of it has to do with many of the things that he says. A lot of it has to do with many of the things that he does. And a lot of it isn't even necessarily basketball related. Some of it is, and some of it isn't. So for him to be that naive, if that's true, That's kind of foolish looking on his part. I don't think so. I think he's just saying he's, objectively viewing LeBron's career as being great and all those things. So this has to do with the GOAT debate. As much as anybody would want to deny it, this is 100% because of these two individuals on the screen. This has to do with MJ and LeBron. And Stan Van Gundy believes LeBron is the greatest. And I think he's got MJ second or something like that. So that's kind of like the framework of this. So if Van Gundy believes that there's undeserved hate for LeBron, and he's saying it's because of the Jordan GOAT, LeBron GOAT debate, he's assigning blame to Jordan fans, Jordan fanatics, Michael Jordan, the existence of Jordan's great career, whatever. And then he's not acknowledging some of the things that LeBron has done or LeBron has said or how things have played out during LeBron's career within the media, within narratives, controls. I mean, you hear people say all the time it's about LeBron's controlling the roster and all these other things and the decision and the announcement. And I mean, there's 100 things that people say, and I'm not here to speak for people. I'm just here to kind of go through this. LeBron picks up a $52.6 million option. Lakers fans are probably not happy about that because Lakers fans would like to see flexibility within the team so they can build a legitimate contender. The Lakers fans are used to championships. With LeBron age 40, turning 41 in the middle of the season, and making $52.6 million, I believe that he can't play to that value. I don't think there's a version of LeBron at age 41. So he's not going to be as good as last year, which wasn't as good as the year before and all those things. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. There's no value in a contract for a 41-year-old player at $52.6 million where he can perform all NBA first team because that's what that contract says. At $52.6 million, you are saying you are a championship caliber player. You will carry. The truth is that since LeBron has gotten to LA, which was in 2019, he has not carried. The championship in 2020, Anthony Davis was the best player. There's two sides of the game. And you can argue that LeBron was great in the finals. I'm not going to argue against that. But so was Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis was clearly better in every round before that. And then when AD isn't there and LeBron was there, the team wasn't very competitive, only for short amounts of time. Because LeBron is old, but he's still making $52.6 million. So the decision for LeBron to pigeonhole the Lakers in the way that he did, it turned his contract into an albatross. They really are strapped. They can't do much. Like DeAndre Ayton was a signing that happened because of a buyout with the Blazers. Like even that is some good fortune. And the fact that he wanted to play in LA. Like what if he didn't? That would have been his decision. It's just, I'm looking at Stan Van Gundy in this. I'm thinking to myself, well, what the hell? How could we be so naive about this? Right? What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to play the audio. We're going to listen to some of it from Stan Van Gundy. I wanted to give you guys the overview, and you guys can kind of chime in, and maybe I'll open up the calls for you guys to kind of give me your thoughts and opinions on what he said. You could tell me if you think he's wrong. Tell me if you think he's right. I want you to listen to what he has to say objectively. Just listen to what he has to say, and then kind of think to yourself, what is he right about? What is he wrong about? And then we'll kind of evaluate it from there. I'm going to go ahead and play the audio. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. I'm going to turn this on here. Okay, so you guys are saying you can't hear it. Let me see if I can try this again. me see here. All right, let me see if I could do it this way. Okay. All right, so here it is on the stream. I want to make sure that I can give you guys the audio. Okay. Okay, so this should work. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I'm going to go ahead and play it now.
Well, I'm in on that. It's definitely not with the LA Lakers, but I don't know where it would be or what deal would have to materialize. I expect him to be back in LA. I think they're pretty good. I think it will certainly help them having a training camp and a full season with he and Luka Doncic together. But I still don't think they have enough.
Do you think that LeBron made a mistake taking the full player option? You know, he was famous in Miami when we were around there, supposedly taking less, making it so you can have a better roster around you. Players, James Harden just signed for $40 million a year and said, "Oh, this was because I most you can always." But he's getting a little hate for this.
Yeah, listen, LeBron's gotten a little hate for a long time for a lot of different things, whether it was, his decision to come to Miami that he announced on TV, whether it was bumping into Eric Spoelstra, whatever it is. LeBron's gotten a lot of hate for a guy who has had the best career of any NBA player ever. And we can argue who the best player has been in the NBA, but it's hard to argue that anyone's had a better career. The most amazing thing to me is this guy's been a national figure since he was in 8th grade. What's the biggest off-court controversy you've got on this guy? I mean, this guy's done nothing except represent the game of basketball in the league well, and yet there's this hate for him. Look, more power to him. I think he took the 1 year. Not only can he make a decision at the end of the year, but the Lakers can too. So I don't think it was selfish at all. And he gets another year with his son, which I think was really, really important to him. So I don't think there was anything selfish about this.
All right, so all right. Stan Van Gundy's losing his damn mind. First of all, it is selfish, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being selfish as long as you understand and we're all on the same page. You're being selfish. He mentioned how LeBron has a squeaky clean image and he's never done anything wrong. What does that have to do with anything about this basketball decision? His decision to sign at $52.6 million made it clear that he wanted to be a fully star valued player. And it was going to hinder the ability of the Lakers to do anything. And then the day after, LeBron says, or at least through his camp, that they want to see the Lakers be more competitive in free agency and constructing a roster that allows LeBron to compete for a chip. Which, by the way, if LeBron is on your team at 40, 41 years old, you need a lot to help him win a chip. Like, he has to be like your fourth best player. Like, even as your third best player last year, like, you lost in the first round. So, like, imagine what else you have to put around him. He brings up Bronny. Like, that's, like, what does that have to do with this? In fact, if anything, that jeopardizes your roster. Stan Van Gundy is actually proving that LeBron's selfishness is hindering the Lakers' ability to compete. And all Stan Van Gundy is saying is how nice LeBron is and how much of a good guy he's been and all that other stuff. It's not relevant to the scenario of the team's construction and the roster. Stan Van Gundy, in my opinion, is wrong. It's not that what he's saying is wrong. It's that he's not addressing the issue, which is the Lakers roster, which is 100% correlated to the lack of financial flexibility that they have. So I'm going to leave it up here. I don't know if I want to hear anything else from Stan. That was the basics and the premise of what I wanted to say, and hear what he had to say. You guys can chime in. I'm going to go ahead and post the link. I want you guys to call in and tell me what's up. Obviously, as you guys are coming in, we do the nice pleasantries, the greets, and all of that. But I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree with Stan Van Gundy, if you agree or disagree with me, and give me your reasons. That's what I want from you guys. Of course, this is an interactive platform. I'm inviting you on here. We keep it classy. We keep it cordial. There's the right way to do things. There's the wrong way to do things. we're going to do things the right way. We can judge what someone is saying. We don't need to take personal shots. You believe he's wrong? Tell me why. Let me get Sean in here. Sean, what up?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Hey, man, living life, man. It's summertime.
Yeah, the summertime.
Talk to me, bro. Stan Van Gundy, his comments on LeBron and the Lakers.
He's absolutely wrong, man. And I don't know about his relationship with LeBron, per se, but at the time, he did like when the media, talks about more about the Cavs and LeBron more than the Magics when he had that 4-1 system and all that during '09. But yeah, man, he's absolutely wrong. Like, and the problem is not the fact that people bash him because of the comparison. In fact, people actually invited the comparison between Michael Jordan and him. The problem with LeBrick is that the dude did not do enough expectations. He done things that was, in my opinion, the antichrist to what the comparison is all about. Like the initial thought about LeBron James' career was that he's gonna be a full fledged Cavalier that will give honor and ingredients to the Cavaliers throughout that whole tenure. Let's say he win all those four titles in the Cavaliers. He also has the all time scoring record in the Cavaliers. He also even has the all even with this the NBA all time scoring record. That is more of a comparison to Michael Jordan than what he's doing right now. The career that we saw right now in reality is not the same as the career that we think about when we see him. That's why a lot of people are on his head. That's why I'm always be on his head. How are you going to make a comparison about something like that, but you do the opposite way? You just ruin your comparison. You ruin the premise of like, hey, compare me to this guy. But you did not do the things with this guy, but you want the hype of that guy. That's why a lot of people be bashing on LeBrick. Just like what I do. That last stream, I gave him a one night special. That was a one time special of being nice. This time it's on me.
Gloves are off.
I'm
The
all,
gloves are off.
yeah, the gloves are off. I'm wearing black gloves now. I'm just like I'm sick and tired of this. And also about his son. Like, let's be honest here. The Lakers, in my opinion, had gave him more things than what Kobe Bryant did during his prime. That by itself is disgusting. I am sorry. I can't even like think about like, hey man, I never imagined Kobe Bryant could actually get his own trainer, his own agencies, his own rules, what he wants to do in practice. He never had that type of treatment. Never.
It's an interesting point. I never actually really thought about it like that. I do have a lot of respect for some of the guys that played for the Lakers in the 3 trips to the finals after Shaq. So like guys like Lamar Odom, I thought Lamar Odom was a pretty good player. He never made an
He
all-star
was a
team.
pretty
He was
good
not
player.
all NBA. He was a flexible player. He had he had several things that he could do good, right? I would never describe Lamar Odom as a great player. Some of the role players played well, at times, and Pau
Are
Gasol
you
was one of
talking
those
about
guys.
'05 or '06? Or are
I'm
you
talking about
talking
even
about
later. Right? So like near like more like the twilight of Kobe's prime, right? Right at the end, right before all the injuries started, and
I mean, most of the role players that was in '05, '06 was still there in '08 and '09. It's just that they eliminate the Kwame and the Smush Parkers
well, that was
out of the
important.
team.
If you remember some of those playoff losses, I mean, those were a couple of the guys that were not good for most of those games.
They were
Like Smush
never good.
Parker, yeah, like Smush Parker wasn't a good player, but I'm speaking to what the Lakers put around Kobe. I do feel like when the players were put there, they made some noise, bro, because they won 2 titles. They went to 3 straight finals, and they had their chances, and they I think Kobe maximized his career in the first half, or I should say like the first third. The middle third was mostly personal achievement. The team wasn't that great, and then kind of the back third or whatever, with the finals runs. Kind of in this, when it comes to Stan Van Gundy got his ass kicked by LeBron a lot. With the exception of that 1 year in Orlando where Stan got the best of him, right? And they went to the finals and they lost to the Lakers in pretty quick fashion. I mean, I think he has a dog in the fight. I think he's made it pretty clear. He thinks LeBron is the GOAT. He got his ass kicked by LeBron. He also beat LeBron. I think he has a vested interest in looking a certain way. I think Stan Van Gundy also potentially could maybe end up getting back into the game to coach. He wants to look like a good dude. I mean, I think a lot of those factors are in there,
See, that's the thing that you bring up. That's why I don't like about this guy, man. That is why. The ass kissing that these players have to do and these coaches just in order to get a job. Like, as if, like, LeBron is some type of, like, ringleader. It's like, hey, man, can you put me in position in order to get this job in the media? Yeah, you just have to kiss my ass every once of 5 seconds or a minute or an hour. You gotta have to kiss my ass, man. You gotta tell me I'm great. You gotta tell me I'm better than this guy. I'm better than that guy, and it'll be all right. Like, what the hell, man? It is. Yeah, man. That was a one night special that I gave you over at last screen, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, man. Even my mouth. I'm like, man, I gave LeBron James a 95 in his prime, in that Miami team.
Bro, LeBron was a great player. He really was a special, unique, type of player. That he's in my opinion. I look at him in terms of comps, like everybody says he's more Magic than Michael, and that may be true, but Magic was not like that. When it came to the power, the size, the speed combination. And there was a time where Magic was sort of unstoppable. That did happen, right? Remember when he was winning all those chips with Kareem and those guys? So like,
yeah, but
there's
that
also
was kind of. But that's different. Magic was the power bruiser type of guy. He was the fast, electrifying.
Yeah, but the willingness to pass,
eccentric.
right? The point guard qualities, like LeBron's vision is pretty special. I always thought he saw the floor, in a very
I don't
unique
want to
way.
go that far. I'm not gonna go
Really?
that far, man. Nah, Magic Johnson was not only a way better point guard. He's pretty much a way better floor general than LeBron.
Well, I'm not
It
saying
just
that LeBron's better at those things than Magic. I'm saying that some of those qualities are there with LeBron. Like when it comes to point guard qualities.
I guess. Yeah, he able to stack up triple doubles, if he wants to and play in the position. But honestly, unlike him, Magic does not need to sacrifice other people's game in order to get what he wants in the court. It's natural. That dude is artificial, anabolic. The system he put on the court is
Hey, look,
absolutely anabolic.
Sean. When this is what I truly believe. If you have outstanding claims, you need outstanding proof. I know a lot of people say a lot of things. I know about the chill sun and peace. I know about all that stuff, but like, unless there's proof, it's hard for me to sit there and pinpoint and say definitively that this thing happened. You might be right. I don't know. But he's never failed any type of evaluation. So it's hard for
Man,
me to go that
listen,
route. You know
man,
what I
with
mean?
all that money and connections and the way the NBA is right now,
But
they
admit to
will
me that you're
protect
speculating and
anything.
that's not fact.
Just because something is not there don't mean it isn't true.
Right, but that's
Let's
what you
be
gotta
honest
say.
here.
But you have to say that then. You see what I'm saying? You have to say, this has not been proven. This could be false, but it also might be true. You could say that like that, but you can't say definitively. You see what I mean? I just want this to be on the up and up. Like, Sean, come on, bro. We're going to stand on business here. We got to call it like it is.
I'm standing on business, man. I told you, man, that was a one night special. I'm always standing on business when it comes of my opinion on him. But
Mhm.
as far as like Stefan Gandhi, I think he's ridiculous. I think that he thinks that if he was coaching LeBrick, it will be a great relationship. When obviously it's not true. Look at the coaches of his resume for his whole career. He kicked majority of them out. He even tried to get fired Eric Spoelstra, who is, in my opinion, the best coach. The I think the last best coach among like the top 15. He's the last best coach of that top 15. And also you could put Steve Kerr on there, but he's a better coach than Steve Kerr. So for me, I don't know why Stephen Gandhi feels like he needs to do all this praising for knowing that he has a bad history with coaches.
All right, so I'll say this about LeBron when it comes to coaches. And Sean, I appreciate you. I'm going to bring you back later on for other
All right,
topics.
no
Is that
problem.
cool? Thank you, man.
No problem.
All right, so here's what I'll say about LeBron when it comes to coaches. LeBron is not easy to cater to. LeBron has been a demanding player his whole career. I think the reason for that is LeBron always felt the pressure to win. He was in Cleveland for the first 7 years. He wanted to win badly. He of course felt the pressure to win. It was in the media. I think his own personal motivations to win. He wanted to be compared and be as one of the greats. Obviously he idolized Jordan growing up, so we saw a guy win 6 championships, take 6 trips to the finals and all those things. Idolizing Michael Jordan, such a great winner, is commendable. I think that's a great bar or standard to set. But LeBron has been difficult. He's been very challenging to GMs, to owners, to to roster construction, because there's always that pressure to want to win. I remember the year with David Blatt in 2015. That was kind of ugly. I remember when he pushed and shoved Eric Spoelstra. That was ugly. I know about the Pat Riley meeting with the rings on the table and the cookies on the airplane. Like, I get it. All those things are true. But LeBron has been able to produce championships when everything has lined up. 2 championships in Miami, 2 out of 4. Some say that's kind of an underachievement. I agree to a certain extent, because the amount of Hall of Fame talent that was there and the coaching and everything like coming together for him, I did expect more than just 2 out of 4, right? So I'm with you on that if you guys are on that page. If you think 2 out of 4 is good, then that's fine too. But he won one with Ty Lue in 2016. He won one in LA with the Lakers. I mean, there is winning, and yes, it's challenging. Coaches are getting fired. The organizations and the GMs are trying to pander to what LeBron needs. But that's part of the agreement. That's part of both the spoken and the unspoken parts of LeBron. That's all part of it. If you take on LeBron as a player on your team, it's a concession you have to make. It's part of the package that is LeBron James. And some of that I think was true with MJ. The similarities between Michael and LeBron are actually staggering when you think about like how they became these forces within the NBA, from a influential standpoint to a control standpoint to league protection standpoint. They're very, very similar. You know what I mean? Let me give a couple of shout outs here in the live chat to some folks who are kind of chiming in there. Woodage says LeBron has a similar skill set of Magic and Oscar, but more explosive and athletic. I'd say so. I think LeBron's guard skills, the guard skills that he does possess, would be akin to those types of point guards. I agree. Young Disciple chimes in. He said narratives. He also said Magic wasn't asked to score like LeBron. That's true. Magic was asked to do specific things, and those things were the best things that Magic could do, right? It's always, anytime a player is trying to be the best player they could be, you always want to take the things that they're best at and amplify them, right? Put players around them that allow them to do those things at the next and highest level. So I agree with you on that, actually. He said because he wanted to be coached by Pat Riley. I haven't heard that specifically, young disciple, but that might be true. And if it is true, it wasn't going to happen because I think Pat Riley made it pretty clear that he wasn't going to be stepping down and, Spoelstra was going to be the coach. So I'm not sure if LeBron's expectations were just misguided, but that's kind of how things were. Sean chimes in, Magic didn't need to score to win games, plus he doesn't sacrifice his teammates' game to get his stats. Well, if you think about it, what made Magic great was the fact that he distributed so phenomenally, right? That's what was special about him. And I think I was always very, very impressed. And maybe James Worthy isn't where he is and viewed today without Magic, right? So that's probably true. Woodage says LeBron just didn't want to buy into a system. Maybe. I'm guessing you're probably saying that because of how LeBron has played the bulk majority of his career. I look at the second stint in Cleveland, and I think that's an indicator of probably where you're going with that. Sean said Pat Riley taught Eric how to coach. If the student was having issues with the brick, the master would have issues too. And I think there was a little bit of tension there, Sean. I do. Micah said, personally, I think when LeBron lost his first finals, he didn't want to take L's by himself anymore. He didn't want to take blame and feel the weight of losing. Failure for many years scared him. There might be some truth to that. But I think by the time LeBron won that first NBA Finals in 2012, and the way that he did it, remember, they lost game 1 to the Thunder. They were losing at halftime in game 2, and then they basically swept it the rest of the way. And then I think LeBron kind of knew his place within the league and how the team was constructed, how they could win, and he could play within himself for them to find success. So in my opinion, Micah, there might be some truth to what you're saying. In fact, there probably is some of that from the first stint in Cleveland and then that first finals loss in 2011. But I think all that goes out the window once he wins that championship in 2012. All right. Mike will allow a coach to do his system. LeBrick would force his system, and coach had to follow. The system thing is interesting because what you're always going to see are these comparisons to like MJ and LeBron, and you had the triangle offense in Chicago with Scottie and Jordan and those guys. And the LeBron system, what I think you guys are referring to, is where LeBron is the ball dominant player. He dictates where the ball goes. So whether he's delivering passes or he's looking in isolation, looking to score, or whatever the case may be. I think LeBron has always viewed himself as the best player on any team he's ever played on. So it's really hard for him to think to himself, I got to do things differently. He probably views himself as the highest order, and it was really hard for him to probably change that. And that's why I think last year in LA, you saw kind of Luka running the show and sometimes Austin Reeves running point and LeBron being off the ball. It was kind of unusual for us to see that, and that was on coach, which LeBron put JJ Redick there to make sure that balance was working. Young Disciple said Pat Riley and Spo can do what they please. When LeBron left, so did the winning. Yeah, I mean, you can't lose LeBron and then all of a sudden think like we're going to keep winning. Like that doesn't work. You've built your roster to cater to LeBron's strengths and weaknesses. So if you notice, every team LeBron ever leaves falls off precipitously because you built your roster for LeBron. So if you don't replace him with another star and then place whatever pieces you need around that new star, you're not going to get to the finals. No way. Right? That's roster construction. That's just personnel. That's kind of the way things go when it comes to, putting a team together that can compete. Nowadays, since he's accustomed to doing enough to be absolved of blame, he's okay with losing. Mike, you're tough, man. You're really gonna try to prove your point on that, man. Magic wasn't mad that James Worthy and Kareem get finals MVPs. Yeah, I don't think he was mad either. I think the way he played the game, he was very content with just winning chips. And I think that was pretty clear. And I think when you win that many in such a short time frame, it puts it all into perspective. Like it's always going to be about the team. It's always going to be about the winning in a team sport like hoops. Miami, he played in a system. Hey, whatever the system is, Young Disciple, if you want to call it a system, that's cool. They did change things on occasions. They did have to tweak and adjust. Remember, they lost the finals in the first year, and they won in the second year and the third, but then they lost in the fourth, right? So there were years where you would say that the system was effective, and there were years where you would say the system was not, right? And because they always had talent, that's undeniable. Big Three Super Team was inspired by the results of the Redeem Team. Interesting. I don't know if I ever heard that reference. It was all LeBron's system. He was the floor general. Yeah. I mean, he was ball dominant. That's facts. Yeah, absolutely. When LeBron left in Miami, the winning left because, Dwayne Wade clearly was impacted by injuries. So he wasn't going to be able to carry as he was previously. And, Chris Bosh, as good of a player as he is, could he carry a team to a championship? Probably not. Probably not. Facilitator, playmaker, only time Eric coaches in certain situations, especially at the clutch. Yeah, he definitely was a good game manager. I always thought he made good decisions. When you surround yourself with enough stars and good role players, you surround yourself with enough excuses just in case you lose. Sheesh, man. Let me go ahead and, I don't know, it looks like you guys, for anybody else that wants to chime in, I heard from Sean. It was good to have him on. If there's anybody else in the live chat, you want to come in, tell me what you think about Stan Van Gundy, his comments in reference to LeBron. Remember, Stan Van Gundy believes that LeBron is the greatest player of all time. He believes that LeBron has the greatest accomplishments, the greatest career. He has beat LeBron. He has lost to LeBron. All of those things in place, put that into context. What he just said about LeBron getting a lot of hate because of the whole Jordan debate and fandom. I think there's some truth to it being connected to Jordan fandom. But the interesting part is, as much of Jordan fandom as there is an equal amount of LeBron James fandom, and that's where the clashing is. You put yourself in a camp, you pitch your tent, and then it's this argument or this debate, and I think Stan Van Gundy has made his position very clear. He views LeBron as this immense, incredible talent that is all-time great, undeniable, all right? But he believes that it's the fans and it's the debate that causes the hatred for LeBron. I think it's more nuanced than that. I think it's more complicated, but I know how to evaluate LeBron's game separately from what LeBron says and what LeBron does or how LeBron is perceived. Those things are all different. They're different circumstances, different nuances. I think people try to simplify it. No, LeBron is the best. LeBron is the greatest. LeBron can do this, that, and the third. And those things can be true. But what LeBron has said and done, like, the internet's undefeated. So when people have smoke for LeBron, it's warranted. He's not a church boy when it comes to the things that he says and does. And nobody's expecting anybody to be. I don't know why people say things like he's this perfect guy and everything is fantastic. There's no such thing as a perfect guy. I mean, welcome to the world where men are men, and you take, the good with the bad, and everybody is this, the up and the down and the left and the right, and nobody does things perfectly every time. I try to separate a lot of the things that are said and done off the court or away from the basketball court, between the lines and in the whistles, from a lot of this other narrative stuff. I try to separate those things. Yeah, I agree. He's definitely had a great career, and I agree, Sean, there's a lot of ammo. Absolutely. What do we got here? Violoncello 1000. What up? Van Gundy looking for that JJ Redick's chat. But I do think that, I mean, JJ Redick, you could say at least he was a young up and comer, right? Former NBA player. Stan Van Gundy, I don't think he played hoops. I can't say with certainty. I don't know if he played at any level. But the last time he coached, man, it may have been it might have been like 10 years ago. I remember him coaching for the Pistons. I don't know if he had a job after that. And that's been a long time. Violoncello says LeBron lies all the time. Hard to like a guy like that. I get it, man. Some of the lies I think are branding. Some of the LeBron lies I think they're like marketing ploys, and I'm not sure how much I take seriously. Some of the things he says, I'm just like, whatever. He's just talking or whatever. But I get it. He's held to a standard, and people view LeBron through a microscope, and every little thing he says and does can be scrutinized. Absolutely. Kobe Bryant Filmer, what up, bro?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Hey, I like how you get down, man. Like I like your
Appreciate it.
style, man.
Thank you.
Because you're taking the narratives out of basketball, and I like that. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. It's a good compliment. Appreciate it.
And you're just strictly talk. I know it's hard sometimes, but you're just strictly talking about the game. And about this whole LeBron topic. LeBron is like he truly is a great basketball player. And oblivious to the things that he does, taking shots at other legends. You know what I mean? Um, Bryant,
Damn, looks like we lost him or he's disconnected. Yo, Kobe Bryant film room. See if you could bounce out and come back in. Let's see if we can get your mic working or if it's a connection issue. I'm going to go ahead and... You there? Can you hear me? All right. I'm going to go ahead and kick him out. I'm going to see if we can... Kobe Bryant film room, let's see if we can get you back in, bro. I want to give you the opportunity to say what you got to say, but I couldn't hear anything you were saying. Maybe it was connection. Maybe it was your mic. I'm not sure, but call us back. Definitely tap back in. I'm going to go ahead and repost the link so I can get you guys back in here. Let's see here. SVG Steve Nash wants JJ's job. Hey, you never know, Micah. People got ulterior motives. You just never know. What up, Kobe's film room? What up, man?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just kind of cutting out once in a while.
Yeah, I'm getting some messed up reception here. I don't know why, but I am. But pretty much what I was saying is that a lot of it, a lot of the stuff you're talking about with LeBron, all these narratives. The only time I really had an issue with him was with it seems like an orchestrated attack on Kobe's career, right?
When would you say that started? When do you think that was prevalent or apparent?
I mean, the media's always kind of been doing it, but I think it really turned up after 2020 because listen, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a YouTube guy. I didn't know anything about technology or anything like that, but they were coming after this guy from the moment he got buried. And I had to make content, and I'm like, a lot of these narratives, man, like it's okay to critique him because he's not here, but it's not okay to make up your own reality about somebody's career. You know what I mean? And I seen a couple of your videos dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Calling this stuff out on how, on the things that people were saying that weren't true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my only issue. Other than that, before that, man, growing up in 2000 in the 2000s, bro, we just watched the game and we were quiet. Right? This is the most we ever talked about the GOAT debate ever. You know what I mean? So like we just watched the games and we loved Kobe. We watched LeBron. We weren't hating on LeBron in the 2000s. At least I wasn't. And we just watched the games, bro. We watched Dwayne Wade and we cheered for these guys because they were great. You know what I mean?
I think once LeBron, the camp, the group, so like Rich Paul and these guys, they have a vested interest in LeBron being perceived as the greatest player of all time. Like it's part of the marketing, it's part of the branding. So if you can convince people that he's the greatest, you've elevated your guy, right? And you know, he's got the rings, he's got the MVPs, he's got a lot of the same accomplishments as MJ. So it makes sense for there to be comparisons just to like the novice viewer, listener, whatever the case may be. But for folks that don't agree with that position, it's only created more venom to be sent back his way, right? And especially when it's become clearly apparent that the same things that were happening for Jordan, right? The media narratives, he's the GOAT, it's not even close, best champion we've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. Those are the same things that LeBron is deploying now. It's crazy how eerily similar, like the way that Jordan became the quote unquote GOAT is the way that LeBron is trying to also become the GOAT. They're trying to create this like God aura. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And
Like,
these guys are they're all flawed. They're humans.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, in my opinion, the worst leadership style is Michael Jordan's. It is the worst way to get the best out of people. To get the best out of people, you have to create and nurture an environment that allows people to achieve beyond what they normally could. Michael Jordan was mean, nasty, and you know what? LeBron is not perfect. He was very passive aggressive with teammates throughout his career. These guys are flawed. They're not teachers. Like teachers are taught to nurture and support. These guys are just great players. I would not recommend someone to say study Michael to become a great leader. No.
Yeah.
If you're trying to become a vocal leader, a demonstrative leader, you have to find a guy who's got coach-like qualities, right? That can manage personalities and stuff like that. So my point is they're following the blueprint. Michael was a manufactured god or a player who had all the things that you needed to be considered one of the greatest of all time. LeBron's doing the same thing now.
Because to me, right, like the greatest leader of all time to me is Bill Russell, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Then you go to Magic, you know. But like even I can admit that Kobe's leadership style sometimes rubbed people the wrong way, right? Like we all know it was hit or miss, right? Some people loved it, some people hated it. That's reality, right?
Right.
And so the thing is that when I get so upset with a lot of crazy, not the casual LeBron fans, but the super fans, right? What I get upset with is they act like Kobe didn't go through the same thing, you know, being compared to Mike. The media crushed Kobe every chance they got, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kobe was facing that comparison his whole career. You know what I mean? And the media came after him hard. You know, every time you hear a conversation, they say, well, he's not this, he's not that, he's not this, comparing him to Mike, right? And so one thing that I seen Kobe do was Kobe embraced it. And to me, he proved all the critics wrong, but they're still continuing this narrative, right? Of he can't win without Shaq and all that stuff. He had the burden. And I go through his whole career. His career was a lot of situations he was in. There was nothing he could have done to change people's minds. I mean, nothing. If he scored 50, he was a ball hog. If he passed the ball, why is he passing too much? If he won with Shaq, well, that's not good enough. Even though you won with Shaq, go win on your own, right? So, like, I understand what you're saying about the whole Michael Jordan shadow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of get it, but I think there's some revisionist history to the game, just in general. You know what I mean?
I do. Thanks for tapping in, Kobe Bryant Filmer. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
All right. It's my guy, man. Appreciate you tapping in and giving us your thoughts and opinions on that. Let me get to some of the comments in the live chat. I do see some new people jumping in here. What up, Lakers World Empire? Yeah, the skill set's undeniable. Very few players have the combination of what LeBron brought to the table in one single box, right? In one setup. He's so great at so many things, and the achievements individually and then as a team, when you look at the teams he played for, the accomplishments, the awards, the statistical relevance, the dominance over the decades, he has it, right? He's got all those things. No credible publication has Kobe over LeBron. I don't agree with that. I think there's plenty that do. Right or wrong, they do. My guy Bruiser Sue, leave my king alone. What up, bro? Jordan's leadership was better, very lethal, but it gives results. But his leadership alienated his teammates, right? And who knows, maybe they win 7 rings. Maybe they win 8 rings if he did things differently. You never know, right? LeBron only have trade mates and throws everybody under the bus. I hear that thrown around quite a bit. There are some teammates who speak very highly of LeBron. I think when you play on a LeBron team, you do see players getting moved quite a bit. And like I said, it's part of the thing that comes with the territory. If you're on a team and then LeBron goes to that team, it's probably sucks. But if you go to a team that has LeBron on it, then you kind of know what you're signing up for. Bruiser Sue said Jordan was a bully to the weak. Kind of noticed that. Yeah, which that's what bullying is, right? It literally has that quality or characteristic. Woodage chimes in. I remember John Sally saying he would never practice with Magic. I never heard him say that. That must have been like an interview or in a podcast. Maybe you could let me know where that's said. Where did LeBron play any part in downing Kobe? I don't know. Has LeBron ever said anything directly at Kobe? I know that Kobe kind of dogged LeBron in some All-Star games. I know that a lot of people believe that when Kobe was in his prime, even in his later prime years, that Kobe was much more skilled, much better. He had obviously already won 5 championships at that point. LeBron had 0. You know what I mean? So maybe there was some of those elements that maybe LeBron felt compelled to spin a narrative or whatever, but that would be speculative. I don't know about any of that stuff being confirmed. He would never step to Oakley or Xavier McDaniel. Yeah, that would be a losing proposition. You'd be getting your ass beat, right? Yeah, there were definitely confrontations. Jordan was never pushed over by anyone, right? He was always a game fighter. You know what I mean? Media, Clutch Sports destroyed Westbrook. LeBron did nothing for his trade mate. Yeah, look, Russell Westbrook is a reckless player. He plays with an incredible pace, an incredible motor. He's turnover prone. He's not a reliable shooter. LeBron knew that in acquiring him and bringing him to the Lakers. I'm not sure why, he would feel compelled to try to, deny that or argue that or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But they got exactly what Westbrook was. He didn't play any different for LA than any other team. Young Disciple says, what does LeBron have to do with the media members? So in my estimation, Young Disciple, I think star players have a lot of influence on the media. I believe that Jordan had a heavy influence on the media. I believe LeBron does as well. I'm not naive. I can clearly see the direction that the conversations go within the media and the narratives they try to set up. So I don't know if that's something you don't see or if you're in denial about it. If you really don't see it, then I would say you're naive. If you're just in denial about it because you love LeBron, that's your decision. But star players have heavy influence over the media. That is undeniable. It's been like that since day one, especially starting with Michael Jordan. Bill's an amazing winner, but do we think he got 11 titles because he's nice? Absolutely not. He was competitive, looking for an edge. He even used his friendship with Wilt to win against him. Yeah, I mean, he embodied everything that it took to win. I know he didn't score a lot of points, but that's not how that team played in order to win. What skill set? I'm genuinely asking about who? LeBron? Are you questioning LeBron's skill set? I mean, I just did a video talking about LeBron's skill set. I mean, LeBron has a lot. He brings a lot to the table, my friend. He really does. You may not like everything about him as a player. You may not like some of the things he does and says. But when I watch the man play basketball, especially in his prime, he was a special player and a special talent. I don't think Mike would do his leadership style over again. It did result in winning, but he might change things up a little bit. Then again, I'm not Mike, so I don't know. And that's kind of what I'm saying, Micah, is what if he took a more nuanced approach to his leadership? Maybe he would have gotten 7 or 8 rings. Maybe he underachieved because of his leadership being abrasive, right? You just never know, right? And that's kind of my position is, had he have handled things differently with his teammates and viewed coaching differently and viewed his, supporting cast differently, maybe it would have been a different outcome. He said that, oh, okay, I'll check it out, man. Thank you. Michael being manufactured is a bit of a lie. His resume pre-NBA built his hype up. The Brick was on a promo tour for the entire season before he came to the NBA. I don't know, man. I like the thing about Michael is they created an aura about this guy, like he never lost a playoff series, never lost a finals game, never lost this, never lost that, and none of it's true. That's the aura that's given off. He achieved greatness. He's clearly one of the most unique players to ever play the game. Nobody's denying how great Michael is. But the stories and the way that they're told, it's conjured up and it's delivered in a way to make it sound like the NBA was full of bums and Michael was the only good player and he was kicking everybody's ass all the time. He won 6 championships. He went to 6 NBA finals, and people act like the 18, 19 years that he played, he was winning rings every year. And that's just not true. He won 6 rings, went to the finals 6 times, which means all the other years he didn't go to the finals and didn't win a championship. I just want it to be more objectively viewed, and I don't want to run away with media narratives for either of these guys. Yep. 16-6. What's that, young disciple? What is that? I don't know what that's referencing. LeBron's skill set? Okay. It's not about liking or hating. What skills? All right, so LeBron's passing is amazing. LeBron's vision is amazing. And I'm speaking to peak version of LeBron. LeBron in transition, probably one of the most unstoppable things I've ever seen. It's very similar to kind of what you see with Giannis today. It's very similar to what you would have seen with a prime Shaq, like Orlando Shaq, like Dwight Howard, those kind of things. His shooting much improved over the course of his career. His defense at one point was all NBA. His scoring was elite. His passing was elite. His defense was elite. He won a championship in a franchise that never won one before. He won a championship with a franchise that is used to winning a lot. He's basically won a championship at all his stops, right? So he's got team success. He's got individual success, the MVPs, the All-NBAs. He's got a ton of records, so he's statistically dominant. I don't know. I mean, there's not that many weaknesses. The only real weakness is you could say that it took him a bit of time to kind of figure things out. And, if you look at his age when he won his first title, I mean, it's similar to a lot of other players. I mean, there have been a few players who won instantly, like you could talk about like Magic and Larry Bird and those guys, but they had really great teams with them, and they were, very experienced for their age, right? Remember, they played in high school or in college back then, so they were more prepared for the level. There's a lot of nuances, but I don't really see many holes in LeBron's games. It's just, I think early in his career, his shooting was not that reliable, and it got better in time. And now if I'm going to critique LeBron, his unwillingness to play defense, that bothers me. And then him settling for threes has kind of bothered me late in his career. But he's gotten better at all those things, right? In terms of the shooting threes and stuff like that. Never lost the final series. Right, that's a fact. I get it. Got you. Man, nobody hyped up Jordan like that. You're kind of reaching. Really? All right, man. Jordan fans accept the struggles. I mean, there's not a lot of weaknesses that Jordan had as a player. There's not a lot. It's just you're nitpicking because the package was definitely there. The dude was otherworldly in his prime. He was an unstoppable force. He was very dominant. So yeah, I agree with his greatness. Absolutely. Yeah, I got you, man. LT, you could talk. I got you, man. I got you, buddy. There's the link, buddy. Go ahead and chime in. All right, so we're gonna bring in LT. He wants to tell me some of the stuff. I'm assuming some of the stuff that he's been typing in the live chat. Go ahead and tap in, and if you got headphones, that helps a lot. If you got a stable connection, that helps a lot as well. Yeah, Sean, I'm not a big fan of the flopping. I'm definitely not. It's a problem, man. As a guy who plays hoops myself, and I coach hoops and all those things, it bothers me when players resort to that stuff. But I guess if you ain't cheating, you're not trying. That's what some people say. I don't agree, but hey, LT, what up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, so I just needed to touch down on this skill set you were talking about, and you mentioned the passing, correct?
Mhm.
I just don't understand how he could be that elite of a passer when he only has one assist title going on in 23 years, and he damn near averages 4 turnovers to his 7 assists a game, something like that.
So ratio 7-4, you're saying?
I think so. Yeah, I think he averages about 3.7 turnovers a game to 7 assists.
Okay.
To one assist title in 23 years. I just think his
Mhm.
passing is a little overblown.
Well, I don't personally subscribe to the fact that you have to win an assist title to be a great passer. I think it's an indicator that you like if you win an assist title, you clearly can pass the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the guy who gets second or third can be just as good as the guy who was first. The difference between second, third, and first might be 15 or 20 assists,
Mm-hmm.
which could be
No
the
doubt.
difference between having a good shooter on your roster and not.
No doubt. I'm just speaking more so to the standard of LeBron. If we're ready to coin him as one of the, greatest passers, shouldn't he have at least more than one assist title under his belt?
Okay, so that would
If
be your personal standard, right? I'm going to let you
okay.
have that. I'm going to say you can have that, LT. You want to see great passers have multiple assist titles.
Okay.
I don't think a player needs any assist titles to be a great passer. Now, if you want to make an argument for the most prolific passers of all time and your standard is assist numbers, then you've
Mm-hmm.
just set the parameters for that. I'm
Okay.
telling you that I've seen great passers in the NBA who never came close to an assist title.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
All right.
So to me,
So what?
like when I measure LeBron and his greatness
Yeah.
as a passer, sometimes players see things that we don't, and they pull off these passes that are really amazing. And then they average 7 or 8 assists a game, and they help their players their teammates achieve offensive success because they set them up well. Some of that was very apparent during LeBron's peak. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. I guess I would just chalk that most of it up to, he just has the ball in his hands
He
most of the
does.
time,
He
dominating
does.
it. So does that
Mhm.
really speak to how good of his vision is? And the fact that he's kind of like 6'9", I kind of expect him to have good vision running up the court, on
But not
fast
all
break
guys who
moves.
are 6'9" were good
That's
passers.
fact. That's facts. That's facts. Okay. That's all facts. Okay.
Yeah,
Now
good stuff, man.
I wanted to talk about his defense. Well, before that, I just wanted to make it quick about his defense. He hasn't won one since he was on a super team. The only time he felt like he wanted to play defense was on a super team. I don't think he's made an all defensive team since he was in Miami.
Right.
That's not even a third defensive team. Nah, no way.
So there was a time where LeBron was all NBA defense. It's been a long time since he was. And the reason for that is to make an all NBA defensive team, you really have to earn that award. You have to earn the respect of your contemporaries, coaches. They have to be afraid of you as a defender, right? Like look at the guys who make all NBA defenses.
Yeah.
They're shot blocking bigs that are protecting the rim. They are hellacious perimeter defenders who are stalking the other team's best guards.
Yeah.
So, you look at take for example this year, Alex Caruso, J-Dub. Like look at the elite defenders who made a first, second, or whatever. I think they only do 2 teams. But if you look at the guys who are all NBA defense, Dyson Daniels, Draymond has a bunch. Rudy Gobert has a bunch. DPOYs. They do something that's like elite defensively. LeBron's defense, the elite part of it in his prime was like help defense.
Yeah.
His primary on the ball defense was good, but the only thing is I don't like the narratives about him guarding 1 through 5. I think that's BS. I think
Totally
LeBron
BS.
is very naturally really good at defending forwards. Small forwards, power forwards, because of his size and his speed and his power. He cannot guard a real center. He cannot. Point guards cooked him his whole career. Jason Terry ran him off the floor in 2011.
Talk about JJ Barea too.
Yes,
Forget about that little man.
Because point guards are shifty and LeBron is a big forward.
Yeah,
that's just physics. LeBron actually is a flat-footed defender. He got cooked a lot because he was trying to defend guys like Derrick Rose, which he can't. So it's unrealistic when people say he guards 1 through 5. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but
I never believed in that.
Right, but when there was a time though, LT,
to try to do all that.
But there was a time where he was all NBA defense. It's just been a while.
Yeah.
Because you have to be the best defender on the floor basically every night to get that award. And he hasn't been that in 10 years,
Okay. All right. And one last thing I wanted to talk about regarding his skill set is the shooting department. I think I read something where it said over about 60% of his points came from the paint, and he shoots 37% from the mid-range. I don't know. I just think LeBron's skill set is very, very limited, if any, if he has any. I think he's just been able to get away with just playing on straight brute force and physicality because he's been able to lift weights in a league where everyone's getting skinnier and prioritizing threes. So, yeah, I guess he can make it look like he knows what he's doing out there. But, nah, every time I see that jumper, I'm just not believing in it. That lean back.
His jumper improved over time. It was never great.
Did his jumper improve, or did he just take more shots?
Yeah, his jumper improved. His jumper improved. Yeah, so if you go back and watch his second stint in Cleveland, his form is cleaner, his release is smoother, and his footwork is better. All that connects to his jump shot. Right? In Miami, he was still very blocky. He was still very robotic. Have you ever seen when LeBron does that thing with the jab steps where he pounds his foot into the ground?
Yep.
Nobody's buying that.
Nobody
moves. You see what I'm saying? But what he did in that second stint in Cleveland, he stopped doing that as much. And he was actually producing movements where the defender was kind of responding. It did look kind of fluid. He's not Kobe when it comes to that kind of stuff. Nobody was convinced of his fakes, right? But what he was able to do in that second stint in Cleveland was he was able to build confidence in his jump shot. He started making the three a little bit better, right? Percentage-wise, it got a little bit better some years. He like those things just got a little bit more reliable. Like, look at what happened in 2007 against the Spurs. They boxed him out.
That was tragic.
You see what I'm saying? Really but that wasn't happening the second stint in Cleveland. You couldn't do that. He made them enough to where you still kind of had to be close.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. That's true. They weren't just standing in the paint. But I'll say that he didn't improve on it as much to where, I don't know.
You could like in the 2016, 17, 18 era, you could still play LeBron the same way as the Spurs did in 2007.
That's what I mean.
And maybe win if you have an elite team. Yeah. But if you didn't, he could make you hurt. Yeah, he could hurt you. Okay. Yeah, he was proficient enough.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my view. I'm not trying to say he was a great shooter. LeBron has never been a great shooter. There's not a statistic anywhere in the galaxy that exists to prove that LeBron is a great shooter. There were some years he shot better than others, and actually it has to do with shot selection. That's what actually helped him become a better shooter, being smarter with the ball. And sometimes it was actually styles with his teammates. Like J.R. Smith being on his team helped him a lot because that dude could make shots. They had to defend him. That creates space, right?
I mean, J.R. Smith was an unsung hero on that cast.
Yes,
but yeah, I follow you though.
Yeah, Ray Allen, same thing. Like the fact that he's out there is a threat. See, that's what I think a lot of people forget. Chris Bosh, guys that are out there that are dangerous, allow other guys to operate outside of a vacuum. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hey, thanks, LT. Appreciate the call, man. Friend of the
Of
show,
course,
man.
man.
Call back anytime.
I will, man. As soon as I got the time. Got you.
All right, man. Thank you. Man, that was a good call, man. My dude LT, friend of the show now. Amazing. All right. Man, we only got through one topic so far. Come on, man. All right, let's do this, man. I want to get to this next topic. All right. Shout out to Kobe Bryant Film Room. Absolutely. Guards are tough to guard. That's why usually it's guards who do it. All right. This next story. This is Kobe quitting in the 2006 NBA playoffs against the Phoenix Suns. I have so much to say about this. This was actually a thing back in 2006. I remember Prince publications saying that Kobe quit. I remember the discussions on programs where they were talking about Kobe quitting in Game 7 of the round 1 in the playoffs against the Phoenix Suns. So let's go back to 2006. Kobe was the NBA scoring leader. Kobe was all NBA first team, obviously. He was all NBA defense first team. Steve Nash won the league MVP. I'm not sure if it was his first or his second. I think it was his second. Nash was the assist leader. The Lakers finished the season 45-37. They were 7th in the Western Conference. Offensively, I think they were averaging like 99 points a game scored. Why am I telling you guys this? Because their opponent, the Phoenix Suns, were 54-28, finished the season 2nd in the West, had the league's most proficient offense. I think they were averaging 108 points per game. So they basically had like the best offense in the league or whatever. I'm not sure about the metrics. Sean Marion was an all-NBA third-team player. Nash, a first all-NBA team player, obviously winning the MVP. So this kind of sets the stage of this discussion. So did Kobe Bryant quit in Game 7 of the 2006 NBA playoffs round 1 matchup with the Phoenix Suns? I'm going to go through all the facts, and then we're going to go into what we know about Kobe Bean Bryant. All right, Lakers were 7th seed in the Western Conference. The series, I believe, was 3-1 going into Game 5. The Lakers were up 3-1. In Game 6, Kobe dropped a 50-burger, and the Lakers lost. So Kobe dropping 50 points in Game 7 was not an indication that they were going to win and beat the Suns. He just dropped a 50-burger and they lost. We're going to come back to this point we're going to come back to. In Game 7, Kobe had 23 points, which was his average for the series. It was like 23 or 24 points. Kobe had 23 points at halftime, and they were down by 15. I'm going to come back to that. They ended up losing Game 7 by 31 points. I will come back to it. The LA Lakers won 3 of the first 4 games. Kobe was averaging 23 a game, averaging like 18 attempts a game. He was averaging 24 points in the losses. Kobe took 3 shots the rest of the game in Game 7 after halftime. A reminder that the Lakers team shot 32% from the field. Anybody not named Kobe Bean Bryant shot 32% from the field collectively. So Game 1, the Lakers lose. Why did the Lakers lose? They just needed to play better defense. That's all it boiled down to. As when I watched the game, I mean, most of the guys for the Lakers scored enough to get a win, but their defense wasn't good enough and the Suns outscored them. So the Lakers lost. Adjustments were made. The Lakers bounced back in Game 2, proving that because they played better defense in Game 2, they won the game. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't play defense, you don't rebound, you're not getting a championship. If you don't take care of the ball, if you're turnover prone, you're going to lose. So the Lakers played better defense in game 2 and won. Game 3, another win for the Lakers. Kobe had 17 points. Let that sink in. The LA Lakers won game 3 with Kobe scoring 17 points. He had 4 steals. He had 7 assists. So he wasn't without impact. It just wasn't scoring. He didn't shoot well at all. I forget what he shot, but it wasn't good. So at this point, the Lakers are up 2-1 in the series. They won games 2 and 3, lost game 1. Game 4, they win by, I think, 1 point. It was very, very close. Kobe had 24 points. I think he had 8 rebounds and 4 assists. I think he had 7 turnovers that game. Odom played well. Kwame Brown played well. Devin George played well. The Lakers won. So we've got games proving that Kobe doesn't need to score 50 for them to win. They're winning games where he's scoring 24, 17. Game 5, the Lakers lose. Kobe drops 29 points. I think he had 7 rebounds and 5 assists. 10 of 17 shooting. So why did the Lakers lose if Kobe played well? Because the Lakers' defense was bad. And the Suns dropped a ton of points. Nash played well. Boris Diaw played well. Sean Marion played well. All 3 of them had 20-plus points. They had 3 additional players in double figures, and a 4th one had 9 points. The defense was bad. They lost by 17 points. So Kobe dropped 29, and they lost by 17. The Lakers are proving that Kobe didn't need to score a lot for them to win. And even if Kobe scored a lot, they could still lose. Game 6. The Lakers lose in a high-scoring game because they could not outscore the Suns. The Lakers' defense in their losses was letting them down. It wasn't Kobe whether or not he was scoring enough or not. It was the defense of the team. The Suns, the league's most prolific offense, was a very difficult task for the Lakers to defend. There were 6 different Phoenix Suns in double figures in Game 6. Nash had 32 points. Diaw had 19. James Jones had 10 points off the bench. Sean Marion had 20 points. Leandro Barbosa had 22. And Tim Thomas had 21 points. Tim Thomas. In Game 6, the game in which the Lakers lost, Kobe dropped 50. And they lost by 8 points. Kobe was 50 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Can you name where the problem was with Kobe's numbers? You couldn't say it. There's nothing there to indicate that he played poorly or quit. There's nothing in Game 5 that says he quit. There's nothing in Game 4. So there's no quit in Kobe in any of the series thus far. But the theme is the same. The Lakers' defense wasn't good enough to stop the Suns, but 3 times in 6 games. Even in Game 6, other guys scored for the Lakers. It was just the defense. The score was 126-118. If the Lakers played better defense and they could have held the Suns and gotten some stops, maybe they could have won Game 6. Which takes us to Game 7. The Lakers bench scores 20 points. The Phoenix Suns bench scores 50. The Lakers got blown out by 31 points in Game 7. Kobe played 43 minutes. Kwame Brown shot 20% from the field. Lamar Odom had 12 points on 5 of 14 shooting. Luke Walton, nice game, 16 points. Sasha Vujacic scored 11 on 6 free throws. The Suns had 7 players in double figures. 7. There was not a single game in that series where the Lakers had 7 players in double figures. The Lakers never had 6 players in double figures. There may have been a couple games where there were 5 players in double figures. But what is consistent throughout the series, I'm talking about the series. It's not just about Game 7. The series. The Lakers won games against the Suns 3 out of 7 times defensively. And every game they lost was because they weren't good enough defensively. Kobe lost a game, or Kobe scored 50 in a game where him and his Lakers lost by a high margin. They lost by 17 in Game 5. They lost by 31 in Game 7. These are large margin victories. Kobe was, I think, 8 of 13 in the first half shooting. He took 3 shots in the second half. They were down by 15 at halftime. They lost by 31. So they were outscored by 15 and then outscored by 16. The first half and the second half are the same. So to say that Kobe quit, well, he came out gunning and scoring, and they were down by 15. So the Suns outscored him by 15 in 24 minutes, in the first 24, and in the second 24, they outscored him by 16. The same outcome. Because the only way the Lakers were going to win is if the team collectively could stop the Suns, which they could not do for 7 games. They were only able to do it 3 times. They needed to do it 4 times. The Phoenix Suns finished that year second in the Western Conference. The Lakers were 7th. There's an element of overachievement. Yes, they were up 3-1. But the question becomes is, should they have been? When defensively, they weren't good enough to stop the Suns. I mean, think about it. It was the same first half and second half outcome, with one half Kobe trying to score and the other half Kobe not scoring. The same thing happened. Every loss in the series involved the Lakers not playing good defense. The series had nothing to do with Kobe dropping 50 or only dropping 23. They lost games where he scored 24 or 50. And they won games where he scored 17. Game 7, they were outscored by 15 and outscored by 16 between the 2 halves. It had nothing to do with some fake story that Kobe quit. So you wanted to see him score 50 and lose. And I think if I remember correctly, Kobe reiterated that in order for them to have a chance to win, he felt he had to get his teammates involved. And actually, that was confirmed when they later won a championship, and 2 championships, actually, in the Pau Gasol era. Right? There was no quit in Game 7. He just didn't play the way that people wanted him to. That's what happened in Game 7. They lost by 31. And he played the first half aggressively scoring and the second half not aggressively scoring. And he got the same outcome. Kobe didn't quit in Game 7. The Lakers' defense wasn't good enough to beat the Suns in a 7-game series. That Lakers team, that Suns team, there was a discrepancy. Guys, this happens in sports. It happens. There are situations where a player or a team buys into an idea that this is the way we got to win, and it doesn't work. And sometimes it works. I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say on this. I'm going to drop the link. I got one person in here. This one's going to be Kobe Bryant Film Room. Let's hear what he has to say on this.
Yeah, man. Okay, so like I mentioned, I did a breakdown on this game,
I
and the
watched it.
whole
I watched
you
it
watched
break.
it.
I
Now
did.
did it? Now everything I said, right? A little kid can pick up on, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so it's not about scoring, right? Our offense was our defense, right? So they were telling everybody was telling Kobe not to score, right? This is why people got to know historical context. Kobe was being criticized by Charles Barkley after he dropped 50, right? You remember the game where Kobe did the fist bump after he hit the buzzer beater?
Yep.
He did not score a lot of points that game. You know what?
Kobe had 24 that game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
his average for the series. Yeah.
yeah. So this is the thing, right? At halftime, Sean Marion, they interviewing Sean Marion, right? Sean Marion literally says Kobe has 23 points at the half, 60% field goal percentage, right?
Right.
And the reporter asked him, "Hey, how do you feel about what Kobe's doing right now?" He said, "I don't care." He said, "We up. We win by 15."
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns they were 7 seconds or less. That was their offense. They did not care about scoring. They wanted to score. They wanted you to get up and down the floor. We were trying to slow down the pace and control the clock. We were game managing, right? So when we game managed, that let the lead become close, and we gave we were trying to hunt for mismatches. The problem, game 7, right? If you remember my breakdown, right? Phoenix played like the modern NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Like on every switch, there was a mismatch. Every single pick and roll, there was a mismatch. Literally, Steve Nash would call for a pick and get Kwame up on the pick and roll. Kwame did not feel comfortable guarding that far out, right? So when you look at, I also mentioned this, the open set, that play that old Chicago Bulls play that they ran at the top of the key. They ran that a good amount of the third quarter. With Kobe, when you see Kobe standing there not doing anything, he literally is trying to create space for open lanes for Lamar Odom to drive and Kwame to operate. If Kobe comes further into the paint, towards the paint, they're going to trap.
So let me get this straight. Lamar Odom is having plays drawn up for him, and he shoots 5 of 14.
Yes.
Carry on. Carry on.
Yes. And so these are play calls called by Phil Jackson. This isn't just some random play calls. These are play calls that Phil Jackson is running, right? So when you look at, let's take Smush Parker, for example. Smush Parker sometimes, and he was good defensively, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes he would shoot early, like in some, in the first quarter, he would shoot early in the clock, right? That was an issue because what they're trying to do is slow it down and turn it into a grinding game. Kobe wasn't just jacking up shots the whole series like people think, and just stop shooting and go cold turkey. He was never taking that many shots, right? The only game you could point at is when he dropped 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he was literally trying to run the offense. So even when he dropped the 23 on 60% shooting at the half, he was still game managing. He played with an offense. Now, when you go into that third quarter, what happened? That open set play was being ran. Kobe was aggressive. Just because you don't shoot doesn't mean you're not aggressive, right? He was playing defense. He was engaged. He was fully engaged in the defensive schemes. He was trying to cut off Nash. And remember, Nash got hurt. That's another thing. Nash got injured, and so when you see that play where Kobe's waving him to Smush Parker to attack Nash, that's because Nash got injured in that game, right? So that's where you see Kobe waving the Smush Parker. That's the one the media likes to show off. Kobe did not play much in the fourth quarter. So I know you hear people talk about Kobe in the fourth quarter. Everything that Phoenix did was in the third quarter as far as their damage.
I mean,
They ran us
the
out
lead was
of
they won 31 points. The margin was insane. Like
yeah.
nobody was ever. It wasn't really a close game after halftime. It was always double digits the whole way.
It was,
Actually, you
and then
know what I saw? You know what I saw, film room? I saw the same sets that were working in game 2 and game 3 and game 4. I saw those
yep,
same sets.
exactly, exactly. So when you see Kobe tried, he was called for offensive fouls, right? He made moves they were supposed to swing and take advantage of mismatches in the post. But when Kobe attacked, he got called for some charge. He took a 3-point attempt in the corner and missed it. But this whole notion that Kobe quit, you can look at his body language. He was still engaged. He was still telling guys what to do on the defensive end. Uh, Another thing is Leandro Barbosa. Leandro Barbosa, Boris Diaw, they woke up.
Yeah,
I
they were
think they
terrorizing
went.
the Lakers. Yep.
Yeah. So they weren't playing well early in the series. They went off. They had I
There's
think they were shooting 60%.
they were accounting for 45% of the team's offense between the two of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Raja Bell getting hurt was a big part of why Leandro Barbosa went off, because he was able to go into the starting lineup and he was able to do damage and speed up the game that we were trying to slow down. Leandro Barbosa
was scoring like 20, 22 points a game in those last few games.
Yes. Yeah, Barbosa was going ham, man, and then Diaw showed up, and it was a wrap. I mean, every people want Kobe to do a miracle. You know
I don't have a problem someone critiquing Kobe's performance in game 7. I don't have a problem with someone saying, you got to shoot more. I don't have a problem with someone saying that. What I'm saying is he dropped 50 the game before and they lost.
Yeah.
And there are games where he scored 17 and they won.
Yeah.
This series was not won and lost on Kobe scoring 50. It was won and lost on the defense that was able to be played against the Suns. When the Lakers held them, they won. When they could not contain them, they got their asses kicked.
Do you have Lakers defensive rating, like as far as where they were at as a team, so people can understand the challenge of playing Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix Suns who were the greatest offense of that decade? Can we understand the challenge of trying to? Kobe was in the worst spot you could possibly be in. They told him not to shoot. That was how bad it was, to where he had to be careful. He was going on a fine line. He was on a fine line that, should I shoot this much? Should I shoot more, or should I not shoot? He had to literally play with that, because if he scored more than the 23 points that you were talking about, we were going to lose.
Well, so here's some important context. The Phoenix Suns won this series. They won the next series, and then they went to the Western Conference Finals, and they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 6. The Mavericks go to the finals, and they end up losing to the Heat. But the important thing about the Phoenix versus Mavericks series, so how did Phoenix lose? Every high-scoring game, and what I mean by high-scoring, games where the Suns are scoring 110, 120, they're winning those games. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when they're getting what they want, they're winning. The only reason why the Mavericks were able to pull this off is because they were able to slow them down. The Phoenix Suns lost game 2 of that series against the Mavericks because they couldn't score 100. They lost game 3 because they couldn't score 100. They lost game 5 because they were only able to score 100. And they lost game 6 because they couldn't score 100. So the Mavericks had a good, reliable offense, and they had the defense that was able to slow down the Suns. it was a 7-game series in which the Lakers could not stop the Suns enough in 4 of the 7 games. It
Yeah,
had nothing to do with Kobe dropping 50 or 17 or 24 or 23. It didn't matter.
it was a good game plan, and the difference is that the Mavs had Dirk, right? And so you could
Because
drop it down low.
Dirk is going to dictate the offense. And by the way, the Mavericks defense was good.
Yes, a lot better, a lot better. And so Phoenix, when they beat us, they were averaging 114 points in the wins. Like, we're talking about modern era averages. Like, this Phoenix Suns team was revolutionizing how basketball was played. And so what Kobe was up against was a generational offense. and he was able to make that a challenging series. You know what I mean? So it's
I
not
do.
about scoring. You could score 1,000 points. They don't care.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling back in and tapping in and giving us that insight, man. And like I said, I watched your video. I learned quite a bit, and of course, I watch these games all the time. I go back and watch it because I think that's the only way to do it. So I salute you and I appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Thank you.
No doubt.
That's my dude, man. Anybody else that wants to chime in? Link is posted in the chat. Let you guys come in and let me know what you think about this concept of Kobe choking in Game 7 or Kobe quitting in Game 7 or whatever the case may be. I've made my position very clear. I don't feel compelled to have to repeat myself anymore. But if you guys want that opportunity to give me your thoughts, maybe you want to, acknowledge certain things or reconfirm certain things. Maybe you want to offer a differing standpoint or perspective. Maybe you agree and think he did quit. Maybe you disagree and you don't think he quit. Give me your rationale. Give me a reason why. Otherwise, there's one last thing we got to discuss, man. We're going to be talking about the Lakers 2025-26 season and where I think that's going to go and what our expectations should be. All right. And shout out to Young Disciple in the live chat who, man, Young Disciple, you're something else, man. You have disrespected me and called me out of my name before, which of course I didn't appreciate, but I salute you for being an active participant in the live chat. And I definitely have been reading all of your statements and your chats for sure. What up, Sean? What's going on, bro? Go ahead and unmute yourself, Sean. Let me know what your thoughts and opinion are on Kobe quitting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with majority of Kobe Bryant Silver's takes. Yeah, Kobe did not quit. Did not quit on Game 7. Yeah, he did lose. I'm never gonna be saying that. Hey, man, Kobe did not lose. Yeah, he did. The Lakers lost against the Phoenix Suns, and I wish he would have actually, I wish he would have actually saved saved the Lakers from this game and scored like 40, 30, like you usually do. But
Sean, do you acknowledge that he could have dropped 30 or 40 and they could have still lost?
no, I believe that if he dropped 30 or 40 and ignore what the media say, he would have the Lakers could have gone to the semifinals. But
In Game 6, he dropped 50 and they lost.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, to be honest with you, man.
No, I get what you're saying, but in Game 3, he scored 17 and they won. So what I'm saying is his point total didn't dictate
matter.
outcomes of games.
I mean, the Phoenix Suns were the top one seed in the West. So, I mean, hey, I do believe he could have actually done more effort on Game 7, but quitting that was not. I never believed that Kobe quit. He didn't quit, but I mean, it is what it is.
I've seen in my lifetime of watching all sports, I've seen a couple of players quit, but it didn't look like what Kobe was doing. It didn't look like Game 7 Lakers versus Suns in 06. I saw a football player leave the field like and never come back. That was quitting. Right? I've seen players walking out, going to the locker room, middle of a game. That's quitting. Kobe played 43 minutes and didn't play all the minutes in the fourth quarter. Kobe was still trying to do the things to help his team win. He was 8 of 13 from the field in the first half, and they were down by 15. So they were outscored by 15 points in the first 24 minutes. They were outscored by 16 points in the next set of 24 minutes. Same outcome. So you're telling me you just wanted to see him scoring a lot in the loss. You see what I mean? You're it's not about him being able to win the game. You just wanted to make it seem like he looked like he was trying to win the game. You're telling me it didn't look like he was trying to win the game.
From the way of narratives, especially from the media, it did not look like he was trying to win all that game, even though he did try to be a better team player.
All right, let me
Game
ask you this,
7
bro.
was
Let me ask you this. You tell me if these statements are true or false.
okay.
All you have to say is true or false.
Okay.
Kobe Bean Bryant is the ultimate competitor.
True.
Kobe Bryant is the hardest working NBA player during his era.
True.
Kobe Bryant is a practice junkie.
That's absolutely true.
Kobe Bryant is a stone cold killer.
That's true.
Kobe Bryant's life theme is you get it done or you die trying.
That's true.
What part of Game 7 did he quit?
He didn't
How does
quit.
any of that make sense?
I said he didn't quit on Game 7, but at the time that I thought of, I believe that Kobe actually got, the media was on Kobe Bryant's head.
They were?
In my initial thoughts.
Yeah, they were.
And to be honest with you, I wish that Kobe did not listen to the media, and he could just put more effort even in the scoring. Even though the scoring they'll still lose, but at least to know that, hey, I've tried. I tried my absolute best. You guys cannot say I quit. We just lost because the matchup was not good. The media was gassing the narrative because he did not score his usual self, because Kobe was the leading scorer in that season. He had the best scoring season arguably in NBA history.
He averaged
But
35 or 36 a game that year.
yeah, in a
And
pace
they had
that
and they were the
is the
and they were
slowest
the
pace.
and they were the 7th team in the West. The scoring didn't indicate winning, right? So for all intents and purposes,
like a James
Sean,
Harden situation.
For all intents and purposes, Sean, this is more optics for you. You just wanted him to look like he was.
Pretty much it. It's pretty much optics.
It's optics. Yeah, this is optics. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, see, that's what I think a lot of people are caught up in. It's optics. It didn't look like it was supposed to. People are saying it didn't look like Kobe was fighting. It didn't look like he was trying, which, just look at every fact from the series. So much more than just Game 7. So much more than Kobe only taking 16 shots. They would have lost if he took 20. They would have lost if he took 25. They would have lost if he took 30. They would have lost by more if he would have took 40 shots. That's how this game goes. That's how this game goes. Man, finally getting to the third topic. And by the way, thanks to everybody chiming in. Kobe Film Room, Sean, you guys are great. Fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate your input. All right, let's take a look at this. All righty. What is going to happen next year with the LA Lakers? 2025-26 season. What is the expectation? What will the season look like? All right, let's talk some actual factuals, and then we'll do our projections. All right, so the Lakers 2025-26 season is going to have expectations. A Lakers season always does. This is no different. The Lakers finished third in the Western Conference last year. JJ Redick, placed by LeBron to be the Lakers head coach last season as a rookie coach, the Socrates of basketball philosophy. A much better coach. That's what people tell me. JJ Redick, a much better coach than Darvin Ham, who went to the Western Conference Finals his rookie season as a head coach for the Lakers. JJ Redick gets bounced out of the first round in humiliating fashion. Probably the worst way you can go out. Looking incompetent, looking foolish, making mistakes, unable to make any type of adjustments or fixes or tweaks. You get coached off the floor by, is it John Finch or Mike Finch, the coach of the Timberwolves? I don't even know. I've never heard anybody say that Coach Finch of the Timberwolves is the Socrates of basketball philosophy. Not heard it. I hear that JJ Redick is supposed to get the best out of all his players, a defensive specialist when it comes to game planning and adjustments, the X's and the O's, the offensive, getting the most out of his players, most efficiency, most capabilities, offensive brilliance. I never heard any of that stuff about Darvin Ham. I only heard about JJ Redick. Darvin Ham went to the Western Conference Finals. JJ almost got swept in the first round. With Luka Doncic, who folks tell me is an MVP caliber player. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. If he quits today, they tell me he is it. He is him. They told me that Vando was coming back and he was going to be locking shit up. LeBron, he's going to step up in the playoffs defensively, and it was going to be the best. And Dorian Finney-Smith, the trade, and LeBron is all NBA second team, top 10 player in the league. I heard people saying that too. All-star, leading vote getter, still one of the best in the NBA. You got 3-and-D guys. All that stuff. So you had all that happen. Now you upgraded. You said that the center position was a problem, so you brought in DeAndre Ayton, who one of the few moves you could actually make because of your financial situation because of LeBron's contract. Luka is in the best shape of his life. Luka looks like a damn Adonis. He looks like a Greek statue. Luka is going to come in. He's going to look like a damn fitness trainer. 2.1 body fat percentage. Austin Reeves has emerged. He's going to be even better next year. He's going to be a better player, more integrated with Luka and LeBron and all those things. All I remember is Lakers in 5. All I remember is when the Luka trade happened. Up LA now. Straight to the championship title run. Favorites to win against the Timberwolves and everybody else. They were going to beat the OKC Thunder because of matchups. This is all the stuff I was hearing. They couldn't make it out of the first round. They won one game. The Lakers got dog walked in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves, who weren't even the best team in the Western Conference. That was clearly the Thunder. The Timberwolves got their asses kicked by the Thunder, the same way that the Wolves whooped the Lakers' ass. There's 9 degrees of separation between the Lakers and the top teams in the West. But everybody hyped it up and said, it's their year. It's Luka. It's LeBron. It's the greatest combination we've ever seen. This is going to extend LeBron's career 7 years. He's going to play to 50. Lakers in 5. That's all I kept hearing. In the playoffs, LeBron got dogged. He looked his age. His head coach, JJ Socrates Redick, decided we need to play a 40-year-old player 46 minutes a game in consecutive games. That's what we need to do. That's going to help us win a championship. That's going to get us to beat the Wolves. Luka can't even sprint. He's like unable to run. Yeah, we're going to play him 46 minutes a game. We're going to bench anybody who could rebound, because who needs rebounds? Didn't make any adjustments. The Wolves were just running up and down the floor. They didn't even do anything intricate, fancy, technical. They just ran. In a competition where, speed is predicated and to be in positions to, outcompete your opponents to spots. That's all the Wolves did. I mean, the Wolves looked terrible against the Thunder. They were exposed too. So an exposed team exposed the Lakers. Oh, man. And JJ Redick's decisions complicated it and made it worse. Right? But it's all good because you fixed the center position. You have DeAndre Ayton. Everybody talks about how great he was in Phoenix, how he can give you rim protection and he can give you offense and he can rebound and rim protect. There you go. So now the Lakers finished 3rd in the West last year. I need them to finish 2nd or 1st because they filled the needs that they had. And LeBron is still a top 10 player in the league. And LeBron is still all NBA. And Luka is the MVP caliber player. And Austin Reeves is AR-15. And JJ Redick is the Socrates of basketball. And you got DeAndre. And you got all these guys, right? All this greatness. The Lakers have to finish 2nd or 1st in the West. They also need to make a deep run in the playoffs because that's what you expect when you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic and DeAndre Ayton and Austin Reeves and JJ Redick. So you can't lose in the first round. You really can't lose in the second round. The expectation, from what everybody's telling me, is Lakers in 5. So the Lakers will have to go to the Western Conference Finals so they can get to the NBA Finals, because championships are how Laker legends are evaluated. So it's on Luka, it's on JJ, it's on LeBron. No excuses. LeBron took the $52.6 million. He needs to play at $52.6 million. So he should probably play 75 games this year. He should probably average 28, 8, and 8. He should be a good defender. He should be a good rebounder. He should be a good leader. He should always be available. He should be helping guys along, being a veteran, leading by example, yada, yada. JJ Redick, Socrates, we should see, coach of the year candidate. Luka Doncic, we need first place MVP votes. I need him beating out SGA and Joker for MVP, putting all this great stuff around him. LeBron putting all this great stuff around him. The Lakers should win 55 to 60 games. Finish 2nd or 1st in the West. Get to the NBA Finals and compete for a title. That's all the things that happened last year, things that were said last year, moves that were made this year, including LeBron signing that contract for $52.6 million. I'm just telling you what everybody is saying and the parameters that they're setting for this expectation for this season. The Lakers have a standard of excellence. Mark Walters has a standard he wants to uphold. Jeannie Buss, LA, Tinseltown, like Lakers, championships. That's what we do. So all of this has been tongue in cheek. I've been saying all this to prove a point. The Lakers are more than likely going to be what they were last year. Because LeBron is 1 year older than last year, where he got exposed. Luka has not proven to me, because he's gone on a diet this offseason, that he's all of a sudden going to be this perfect athlete next year. Austin Reeves will be a better player. I get it. But LeBron's going to be worse. He's going to be older. But he's still making $52.6 million, and he's hamstrung the franchise. It's not LeBron's fault that he had a player option. The Lakers agreed to that contract too. They signed it. But what LeBron is culpable for is expectations. Sir, Mr. LeBron James, the GOAT, right? You have set the stage for this. The Lakers have set the stage for this. There should be enough venom and vitriol to go around all these people in LA. You could have smoke for Luka. You could have smoke for LeBron. You could have smoke for JJ. Hell, you could have smoke for Austin Reeves if you want. I don't really care. But the same things that we saw last year are going to happen this year. DeAndre Ayton will not get these guys past the Minnesota Timberwolves. DeAndre Ayton will not get these guys past the OKC Thunder, the Houston Rockets, or a healthy Dallas Mavericks team. Like, let's be honest. Are you ready to stick your neck out and tell me that Luka's about to take his career seriously? He's going to get back to scoring 35 a game, playing competent defense, not being exploited defensively. You're going to tell me that Austin Reeves is going to continue to level up? If everything hits for the Lakers, they take one baby step forward. Maybe. Because you're assuming that LeBron is still going to be an all-NBA player. They told me that LeBron was deserving of an all-NBA second team. So if you have a league caliber MVP player in Luka and an all-NBA second team and a budding star in Austin Reeves, who's an all-star caliber offensive player, why can't you produce? Why can't there be expectations? We should see 55 or 60 wins. We should see a second or a first seed in the West. The resources are there. The personnel is there. Lakers in 5. LeBron's the GOAT. Luka is a first ballot Hall of Famer. How many teams have this? How many teams have this? There's expectations. A lot of it created by them. Socrates. Whatever, like, every team has expectations. Why shouldn't they? Especially Lakers in 5. Micah chimes in. There's no way he should have signed that deal. He should have re-signed for half if he wants to win. But here's where I push back, Micah. That deal was constructed multiple years ago. It was proposed and signed by the Lakers and LeBron. Whose fault is it? It's not LeBron's fault that he signed a $52.6 million. What is LeBron's fault is the fact that they can't do much with the roster because he signed it. So it's like two things, right? Kind of nuanced. It's 1 more year, Sneed, and after this, we'll be free. It's like you're locked up in purgatory because of the Albatross contract, right? We got 3 players in the starting lineup that don't play defense. Let's see here. Austin Reeves, below average defender. LeBron can play defense when he feels like it. He just doesn't feel like it enough. Right? And then Luka, I mean, he takes chances on defense and sometimes he gets steals, but like he gets exploited all the time. I get your point. Got you. We'll figure it out, though. The Lakers always do, man. Whether it takes 1 or 2 or 3 seasons, they always do. You got your star of the future in Luka, and I think Reeves is a good piece to build around. It's ours, but if he wanted to win, he should have taken less. Yeah, he signed the deal. And maybe that's something that they should have met over. Maybe LeBron and his camp, instead of taking it publicly, how they wanted to compete for a title and all that stuff, like maybe you should have brought that to the attention of the GM Rob Pelinka. Restructured that player option, maybe. I can tell you this, he's going to be very difficult to trade. Everybody's talking about trade scenarios. It's very difficult to trade because of the money. It's very difficult because of his age, what you're going to get return, his limited ability to play in the future, basically being his, retirement season, possibly. I don't know, but yeah. Link is in the live chat for those of you that want to call in on this matter. I did all this to say, the Lakers have high expectations, and Lakers fans and LeBron fans and all that. I expect the Lakers to finish, based on the talent they have, based on the Socrates of basketball, all that stuff, it's a failure of a season if they don't finish second. All right. Or first. It's a failure of a season because they finished third last year. All those injuries, trading AD, Luka, the calf, he's overweight. LeBron's 40, all that. They finished third. So this year things are better. So they should finish second or first. In my opinion, I think they'll end up regressing because just LeBron's just older, and he definitely didn't deserve an All-NBA second team last year. That I felt really bad for the guys who got All-NBA third because LeBron got All-NBA second. That was a terrible injustice. But yeah, it's an NBA Finals or bust, right? And when they get to the finals, you got to win games and you got to get a chip, right? That's LA. That's LeBron's standard. That's what they say. But I know LeBron won't really mind if they lose because remember, it's not the A-all B-all. Yep, it's not the A-all B-all to win championships. But the truth is like play to win the game. And the truth is the Lakers have standards, and championship standards is a fabric of that franchise. So, yeah, they need to finish better than third. They need to make a run to the finals and win it because they got JJ, Socrates, Austin Reeves, AR-15. You got Luka MVP. You got LeBron the GOAT. It's championship or bust. What up, Sean? Talk to me, bro.
I don't think the Lakers are going to win 50, 55, or 60 games, but they're probably going to be in. I think that they're going to be pretty much either in the fourth or fifth seed. I would be surprised if they actually were in the top three seeds, but nah, man.
Let's play this game, Sean. Who is most
right.
likely to come out of the West? Top of the West.
The way I'm seeing, OKC, Denver.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility that the Spurs. Okay, maybe say it was the Rockets since they also gained hype because of the OKD. I'm not seeing it, but whatever. Okay, Rockets. I do believe the Spurs is going to be coming up around the top four.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, then it will be the Lakers because we still have Luka. We still have Austin Reeves, who's still going to be improving in the next upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
Luka is going to be playing amazing, and hopefully, maybe he might even lead in scoring next season.
So you, like me, agree that there are going to be things that are going to get better, but their season could be worse.
This season is going to be bad because they got old LeBron James, and the mindset of Aiden. Like again, Aiden moves like the modern day player. He does not care about the Laker allure or the championship allure. I think that majority, not only just modern players, I think that modern fans does not care about championship allure. They just care about, hey, I'm getting hype, I'm getting clout, I'm getting all this attention, plus I'm making money. I'm also going to get more of social points coming on forward, and that's all that matters to me. All this winning and championships and oh, I did this that's make me look like an all time great. In my opinion, in the modern day NBA, those days are over. I'm just gonna be honest here. That's one of the reasons why people are moving away from basketball because this is not the NBA I grew up at. Most players want to be all time greats.
You're right.
These guys does not care about being all time greats. They look
So
at
can I push back a little bit on that, Sean?
okay
Can I push back a little bit?
okay
All right. So here's what I'll say to that. I believe that the elite group of guys, top echelon, the ones that you can clearly see want to win, want to compete for titles, want to be great, and have legacy, right? I believe that the same amount of players then that wanted that is the same amount of players that want it now. It's an elite group. It's a handful of guys that have, there's a handful of guys every generation of the league that have an insatiable appetite for winning. They want so badly to win, it's all they think about. Now, some guys actually are able to find and achieve that team success because of their own personal growth and also the team growth. You remember, it's like lightning in a bottle. In order to win a
I agree.
championship, it's like everything's got to work. Roster construction, health, good fortune. Your star has to be impeccable. The defense has to be consistent. You got to rebound. You got to take care of the ball, no turnovers. All these things have to happen, right? It's only an elite handful of players that are capable of doing this every generation. So when we look at teams like the Spurs from back in the day, and you look at teams like the Bulls back in the day, and the Celtics and the Lakers, they possessed one or more of those guys at the same time. And that's why they won the championships, right? You look at the guys now, it's the same thing. There are guys who don't give a damn who are cashing out. And you have guys that do, and you could see it when they play. You're letting recency bias cloud your judgment. The Ben Simmons are sticking out to you and me. I noticed it too.
No, it's not.
Others,
It's more just about Ben Simmons and
I'm just
and
giving an
also
example. I'm just giving
okay
an
okay.
example. Okay, so Anthony Edwards, a rising budding star. He's incomplete. He's not there yet. He's not a finished product. We are impatient, and we collectively are starting to hold him to standards of MJ because we think he plays like him when he actually doesn't.
I never put
When I
Anthony
say
Edwards on
we,
that
when I
level.
say we, I
Okay
mean like this generation of people watching the league. We hear it all the
okay
time, though, right? You hear people say it.
yeah.
So you don't say it, Sean, but I hear people say it all the time. This guy's the next MJ. This guy looks and plays like MJ. He doesn't actually. MJ didn't take a lot of threes. He didn't care for threes. Anthony Edwards would prefer to pull up and take threes. So there's changes to the game, but the players are just, the names are different, but the conditions are kind of the same. You have those that want it so badly, and there's a lot that don't. And that's always been that way.
I hear you on that, but I believe that the players who does not want it more, there are more of them as opposed of guys who actually do want it more. And the parity of the NBA as far as like every year there's always a new champion winning. It kind of, not to say it's not, parity is not a good thing. It is a good thing. But it kind of shows you that like, okay, these guys are not winning consistently. Like they actually, I won one championship. That's all you get from me. Next team, I won one championship. That's all you get from me, and
Well,
so forth, so forth.
okay, so the thing about championships, they're setting up the league for there to be parity. They're trying to set up the league because of like salary caps and the aprons. It's deterring, the teams from accepting the luxury tax losses. I mean, it's really become detrimental. Like the Celtics just had a fire sale. They got rid of anybody that was making money not named Jason Tatum. they're probably entertaining any trade offer. Like, if we can get enough return, we'll trade Jaylen Brown. Like, let's see if they can knock our socks off. Maybe they'll give us
That's the
4
Celtics,
picks
man. The
and
Celtics are
2
full of
players.
idiots, though. Okay.
But this is my point: is that the ownership doesn't want to pay up on these taxes and these reoccurring luxury tax violations. The penalties are getting higher. They're changing the rules to the game as we speak. GMs and owners are starting to respond to these things. The Warriors should have never been broken up, but they had to be because the owner said to hell with this. The Warriors were disrupted. Like, the only thing that's going to stop the Thunder is, you look at their age, it's contracts. The Thunder are the most dominant defensive team in the league. They're all young players. Those young players are going to get better. Next year's Thunder team will be better than this one. And they might not win the championship because of other factors, but contractually things are getting difficult. It's getting really hard to repeat. We used to see that more before because the league was set up different. You see what I'm saying? Like, the conditions have changed. The rules of the game have changed in a way that's conducive to other teams winning from time to time. Like, look at the Celtics, bro. They went to the finals multiple times. They came out with 1 chip. 1. So far in the Jaylen Brown, Jason. They might not win another one together. That is a definite possibility.
I hear you on that, and I agree that the CBA has been troublesome for a while, for over a decade now. But I believe that franchises should be more flexible and give more reasons of why these players should stay outside of just giving them more money. I think that teams should just should try to do is to persuade these players of getting lesser pay while looking at saying that, hey, your career, if you win a championship, your career will be boosted. You will be a Hall of Famer by the time you're able to get through this.
But they're creating generational wealth for their families.
But this is the thing that's the thing where I think that, which this is kind of conflicting, and also this is another thing I kind of do blame on LeBron James. But hey, we're not going over there because the player independent movement have disrupted these players of picking either lifestyle or legacy.
Right.
And LeBron was able to do that having both legacy and lifestyle. These players are leaning more lifestyle than legacy. So they rather have $100 million in their bank than having, okay, 20, 30 million in the bank with a championship ring, with that scoring title, et cetera, et cetera. They only care about is the check. And that's what I mean about my critique about these players, especially with Deontay Eaton. He does not look like the guy that I just see that, hey, man, I'm a youngin' that's going to be motivated by the Lakers allure, the Lakers history. Because, when you go into a team that has a championship pedigree, you're supposed to be motivated. You're supposed to have high expectations among yourself. Not these days. And also, it's not only just in this generation. The start of this happened in prior to, I say in the 2010s,
right.
that mindset started off of that, and maybe even the 2000s. We got Kwame and Smush Parker. So, those two cases example.
Those types of players have always existed. There have always been people just clocking in and clocking out. This is across all industries. Every single workplace has people internally that are saying, just do enough. Just do enough to where you don't get noticed. Just do enough so the manager ain't on you. Just do enough that you're not going to get in trouble. Just do enough so you don't get fired. And you can continue to earn your check. That happens in every industry, every year, every era, every decade. That has never been different. It has been the same. It has been this way for eons. But even the just the number of people, like if you want to call it a percentage, it's probably the same across all these different eras. I'm telling you that it's just recency bias now because we're living in it. So we're not looking back, right? We're looking at now. Everything's fresh. Everything's in front of us. It can be magnified and overanalyzed. Trust me, the same guys that are bumming now and aren't driven and aren't, hungry with the fire burning in their stomach, there were the same number of guys like that in the 2000s and the 90s and the 80s. There were guys that couldn't get off of drugs back in the 70s and 80s that blew careers. And they were going to be Hall of Famers. They were destined to be great. That same thing happens now, but it's like in front of social media. It's happening on camera now.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't no players. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't no great players. All I'm just saying is from the mindset of Deontay, I just don't believe that he's attracted to the Lakers allure.
Are they going to blame him when they don't win more games?
Unfortunately, from a media standpoint, they will, or they're going to blame JJ Redick. Regardless, you have at least
is it JJ's time to get blamed? Because they didn't blame him last year.
Oh, they blame. Oh, I blame him. I blame him everything because he was the Socrates of NBA coaching. He's the ultra intellectual among basketball plays and whatnot. So, I mean, of course, I'll be blaming them, and I am rooting for the Lakers to fire him as ASAP. I don't care you pay for him. You might have to fire him so he could, so we could get a better coach,
right,
has a better system, who does not allow players to force them to do whatever the hell they want and bring results. And to me, because of that, I don't think the Lakers are the Lakers to me is going to be second round exits. That's about it. Maybe going to be in the conference finals.
Wow.
But for me, I don't believe this team is going to go and win a championship.
So if you got them going to the Western Conference Finals, you have them beating some combination of the Golden State Warriors, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, the OKC Thunder, the Houston Rockets. You have some combination of them beating those guys in 7-game series.
Hey, the NBA is unpredictable. You know what I mean? Anything is possible. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I cannot just sit here and also say that, hey, man, like, I'm just gonna believe that OKC is gonna repeat. The way that things are, I don't think OKC is gonna be the first team of this decade to gonna repeat back to back in the title. I just don't believe that. But what I do believe is that the Lakers, if they see some holes in that armor among those other teams, they will take advantage of it. And because you have Austin Reeves, who is that wild card, you can make something to the point where you do overachieve. You kind of did overachieve in your position. But again, like the Lakers, I just don't. For me, I do have some level of hope because I am a Lakers fan, but I have already acknowledged that LeBron just plagued my whole entire team, which I don't even have no confidence for. Like I have hope, but I don't have hope. I do believe they're gonna improve, but they're still gonna be diminished in some areas. And that's where it is. Like the Lakers are right in the middle. They're not up, they're not down, they're just right in the middle, except even though they're right in the middle, they're slightly coming down because you have those two factors. You have LeBrick's age and you have Aiden's mentality. If his mentality is actually good, the Lakers are going to go up. I think that if Aiden has a great mentality, I think he's going to overachieve this season to prove that he is that guy.
So he's 16 and 10. What do you got for next year for him?
Bro, I mean, shoot, I'll be surprised if he goes 18-11. Who knows? Who knows? But the truth of the matter, if his mentality sucks, the Lakers are going down. They're going down. Forget about that playing tournament too. They are going down. They're going down. And
yo, Sean, let me do this, Sean. Let me respond to Micah's comment, and then you can respond to it too. Aiton will be blamed for sure, along with Laravia and whoever else. Rui will catch strays. Everyone getting hit except LeBrick House. Pause. Respond to that for me.
I mean, Micah is right. Dude knows. Like,
Micah
LeBrick,
is he's a Lakers lifer too, I believe.
yeah, we're both Lakers lifers. I've been followed the play for over 7 years straight. I knew from the start that LeBron coming over here was absolute failure, and I still believe that, even with that stupid Mickey Mouse ring. I know people's gonna be like, "Hey, man, that's still a ring." Nah, man, a ring should be celebrated and should be proud. You should be proud of having that ring.
Right.
There's no pride with that ring. In fact, LA did not was the whole entire LA did not was really proud with that ring. Yeah, you see some fireworks here and there, but they're more celebrated with the Dodgers winning that ring, winning the World Series, than the Lakers winning in that NBA Finals. You get what I mean? Like, they are more proud with having the World Series over the NBA Finals.
So check
That
this
said a
out,
lot.
bro.
Okay, okay.
I'm from a city where we have one recent championship. My
Oh
Cleveland
yeah,
Browns are straight trash. They haven't won anything since before it was called the Super Bowl. It was called the American Football Championship or something back in like
American Football League,
1965.
the
Yeah.
AFL.
Yes. So Jim Brown, right? Those guys. So we won a championship then. It was not a Super Bowl. Major League Baseball, we went to a couple of World Series. We lost one to the Braves, one to the Marlins. Heartbreaking for both. The I think in 1948 they won a World Series, right? So it's been like 80, 90 years. The Cavs have one title in their existence in 2016. Like, so I'm from a championship starved city that has big time sports where everything here is sports, right? The teams suck and we still show up every day. It's like our job, right? So you're from a position of strength where you're competing for titles across multiple teams and multiple sports. Like the Dodgers are there like every other year. You know, the Lakers, I think they have the most NBA Finals wins in league history. They're a few up on the Celtics, I believe.
Championships, the Boston Celtics have over one. I don't know about. I had to check out the NBA Finals records because I don't know about that.
The Rams won a Super Bowl recently.
That's true.
You know, like there's a lot of winning in LA. So like the
So
standard,
basically, you're telling me, hey man, like, you should be
what I'm
proud
saying
that
is
you have. Okay.
the reason why you view the Mickey Mouse ring or whatever you called it, why you view it so I don't want to say flagrantly, but you view it like it's wispy, like it could just float away, like it's not that meaningful because you
It
guys have so
wasn't
much of them.
meaningful. I mean, it wasn't meaningful. Like what do you want? Like,
But if your franchise only had that one, it would be meaningful. See what I'm saying? It's not a premium because you guys have so much.
I wouldn't even say all that. It wasn't meaningful, not because, like, okay, we have that much amount of championships. No, it wasn't meaningful because of how we won that title, and also the setting came from out of it.
How
Like
how much does it matter that it was LeBron who was there for that chip?
how much?
Yeah. Like
Shoot, you know what I mean?
is that part of the equation why you view it so, you know, unfavorably?
I'm looking from this perspective. The Lakers had the advantage when it comes to practices during the pandemic. And for me, and also the way that how the NBA has set up with the NBA Finals, and even when it comes to, like, even the playoffs, they were setting up that the Lakers are going to win. You know what I mean? It's not. It's much different if the Lakers did not really do that much practices, just like the other team, and we just came in just like that since day one uno, or the last time that we played over in January, and we won that title. It's the way that how we set up, and for me, with LeBron James winning that title, I just don't really. I give it like a negative. I just give it a negative, man. I just give it a negative because him and Adam Silver are like, what way I can say this? Him and Adam Silver is like Thanos with the golden gauntlet. You know what I mean? When you snap the fingers, you get what the hell you want. And that was that moment. I know. That is cruel, but that is the truth. Like, like I got Adam Silver on speed dial. Snap my fingers, make it happen. And you know what? He made it happen. Jimmy Buckets was like, Jimmy Buckets, he got in that triple double scene throughout the whole final series, but his off-duty activities was making him off focus somewhere. He lost some energy off of that, but still, I just don't really see. I never really look at the Lakers that championship as like something to be proud at. It was just like, hey, it was nearing to the end of the world, and LeBron had this narrative where he could pull saying like, "Hey man, I'm doing this for Kobe," but honestly, you're just doing it for yourself. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's a little bit disingenuous to try to
yeah,
say that. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Sean.
yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Salute, bro. I thank you for coming on here and being a part of the program, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. I mean, again, man, that was that one time when I'm saying that Sunday nights about LeBrick, man. Bro, this whole thing is
It's all
it's
good,
on
bro.
shock
It's
one.
all good. Just check in soon, all right? We're gonna do a show real soon, probably the end of the week, all right?
All right. I also commented about in your Paul Pierce video.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. The Paul Pierce video, right? Well,
All
too
right,
bad
man.
Kobe was in the league, huh?
I
All right,
mean,
Sean.
Paul. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna bounce, man, but I do appreciate you. We'll see you soon. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here for the show. Sean for tapping in and giving us some of his perspectives. We also had the Kobe Bryant film room. Big salute to him, Micah. I saw you in the live chat. Thank you, man, for being here and supporting us. LT for calling in. Thank you as well. Young Disciple came through. He made his presence felt. Absolutely. Big salute to him. Even though he's called me out of my name a couple of times, I'm gonna forgive and I'm gonna let him live, and maybe he'll kind of turn over a new leaf, and we'll try to promote respect and dignity and honor in this community. That's kind of what I want to do with this thing. But yeah, thank you guys. Violoncello stopped by, Woodage, Sean, appreciate you guys. I really hope I didn't forget anybody else. I'm just scrolling up the chat to see if I did, man. If I did, I really do apologize. Thank you all for supporting. Please like and share our videos. Check them out. Support us that way. Go ahead and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget to turn on the bell notifications. Select all. And that'll let you know whenever we do upload videos and do live streams. Thank you guys for everything. Have a blessed day, a good evening. We shall see you soon on the next one. Peace.